What's with the hat?
Stealth mode.
Who watches those guys?
It's guaranteed success. Well, we're heading out to the Badger plot, and it's not just the Badger plot. You know, that's years in the making, and it's been really valuable this year. But we're going after Ocho. Ocho was a buck I passed up last year. Beautiful 8-point last year, 20 inches plus wide. Just a mature 4-year-old 8-point. This year he really blew up. I don't know if he has a 13-inch dagger, G2, 14-inch. Very heavy. He just grew another year as a 5-year-old. He's a stud buck. And what we're doing tonight is we're hunting consistency. What I mean by that is there's all kinds of patterns that a mature buck can express. And one of the things I really learned down when I was in Kentucky, and those guys are hunting summer movement, and one thing that throws it all off out of whack is a cold front. So look at these bucks that are in a consistent pattern every single day. All of a sudden the weather changes and comes slamming through, and the bucks go into a little tizzy for a while. And then if you combine when they're shedding their velvet, that's even worse. I think in October that can happen too, but when we get into end October, November, it's all cold fronts. And I love mid-October for cold fronts too. We're in the end of September still. We've been on a consistent pattern of weather, no rain, boring, dry. We need more rain for about 10 days. Every other day, Ocho is coming into this plot in the evening at shooting light. He did not come in last night. Now watch, he won't come in tonight, but I did wear my Detroit Lions hat, so probably a guarantee. I'd say that he'll come in tonight for sure. You know, that's a winning formula. And for those of you who think I'm a bandwagon fan, what was it doing 2021? Where Jen and I were sitting for the Packers-Lions game. I was wearing my gear for videos that day. And so I've been a Lions fan my whole life, which when you meet a Lions fan, that's a true fan. A little delusional. I don't know if that translates for hunting. But we're going in on Ocho tonight, and I'll further discuss the strategy when we get into the blind. But we're going to go get in there, be quiet, and I can't wait for this sit, Dylan.
Let's get it, buddy.
It's
Year 9.
Our first sit this year, 9th season we've been hunting together. So that's special in itself. So wind is really good. Perfect right now. We're sneaking in here. One of the things you have to watch is about 2 hours after dark. Southwest winds are perfect here. Northwest winds are not. It's changing to west-northwest about 2 hours after dark. You always have to look forward. I would expect that wind sometime close to dark tonight. The wind doesn't automatically change in the hour. It's like a tug of war over a few hour period. So I don't think we'll get burned. It's 2 hours after. But it's a little bit risky, and you got to pay attention to that. So we're going to go in and try to stay quiet. But he moves right through here if he comes in tonight. So we're all set up and ready to go. And I'm being quiet because if Ocho comes, he comes in within 10 yards, and he's come in close to this time in the last week and a half. I wanted to talk about these 3 buck patterns that you can hunt. And, you know, a lot of times I'm preaching weather, and that's when I shoot my bucks. Weather drops, shoot them right here. Wind speed drops, temperature drops, conditions moderate. That does not mean that the winds stop. I like a little bit of wind. In fact, tonight we're getting wind the whole night, just moderate wind, which is perfect. But I'm talking about times outside of the weather. Because just like you, I like to go hunt. Tonight Dylan's here. It's our ninth year hunting together. When Dylan has time to film and we can get together, then we go sit during the season. Would you agree, Dylan?
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's raining, snowing, windy, whatever, we go hunt. We need to collect B-roll footage and everything, but I don't want to waste a sit. So what do? It's not the weather. Well, during this early season, meaning mid-September, late September, early October to mid-October, before the pre-rut, because once the rut hits, things really go out the window. Also, during this earlier season time, summer you hasn't even started yet. We're hunting on September 30th. So it's really getting towards October 1st opener for you, my fellow Michiganders. But for a lot of you, you can't choose when you can hunt just by the weather. And just like us, we need to go out and sit sometimes. I'm looking for consistency. And so I'm looking around, what patterns can I see that are happening every day? You know what's interesting about this time of year? When the weather's the same, day in, day out, and bucks do the same, day in, day out. What's the worst thing you could do? Wait for the rut. Wait for a giant weather change, because if they're already in daylight and they're out here expressing their movement during daylight, then you need to get on them right now. When that weather front changes, it might change everything. So I make that assumption that you're hunting patterns. But for a lot of you, you're waiting for that perfect weather, and here you have a buck that you're either seeing. Jen was out here and saw Ocho right over there 3 nights ago, 80 yards. Of course, couldn't get a shot, a little too far. But bottom line is, we see this consistent pattern, whether it's trail camera or in person, summer scouting this time of year from field edges. The worst thing you could do is wait. And again, I make that assumption you're not going to do that. That's a great pattern to go ahead and hit. Another pattern, when we get into our middle of October, end of October, bucks really start hitting our water holes. And that's a really fun time to hunt. So when they're hitting those water holes, again, day in, day out, and some of them are even almost to the hour. They're hitting those water holes, hitting consistently, whether it's in the afternoon or morning. It might even be an odd time because it's close to their bedding area. Then I want to get in on that water hole and take advantage of that sit. Maybe it's a mock scrape somewhere, maybe it's an apple tree in the woods, but you're seeing that pattern. Again, big weather, the rut can throw it all apart. So those are some of the patterns you can sit. And this third pattern I want to talk about, other than this early season time, you can see the consistent pattern. And I'll tell you again, the Ocho pattern that we're seeing is he's on this food plot every other night. We see him around here during the off nights, middle of the night, but he's in here during daylight every other night. We're on that every other night pattern. It's happened like 5 times in a row. This will be the 6th time over a 10-day period, 12-day period. So we're hoping to see that. I don't want to miss that. But then you go into that water hole timing, especially mid-October to late October and later when they're hitting it consistently. That could even happen in December if the temperatures aren't frozen. But then also on those late season feeding patterns. It could be the same weather, same patterns every single day. He's expressing that pattern. He's showing you it's consistent. Go in and try to take them. If you wait for change, which is what I love to see, most of all things being equal, then if you wait for that change, you might have missed your opportunity. So normally, I have a lot of stands open when the weather hits. You can use your imagination. We have morning stands, afternoon stands, so we don't have a particular stand that a buck is going by. That's just that boring, calm consistency. We're using a lot of other stands where we expect that change to really bring us a lot of success, and it has throughout the decades. But for those of you who can't wait, for those of you that are seeing that pattern, and for those of us like Dylan and I, where we need to get out and film a little, and we're going to hunt together, and we're going to enjoy it, then get out there, hunt those various patterns that you see, whether it's those water holes, apple trees, mock scrapes during mid-season, whether it's your early season feeding opportunities or the late season feeding opportunities. The time to strike is now. So we're going to get settled down. I'm going to shut up. We have a bunch of videos to shoot tomorrow, but sorry to disappoint Dylan. We're not shooting anymore today. Is that okay with you?
Hey, as long as we can crank them out tomorrow. Gotta keep the viewers happy.
I feel like we've already done a lot just to get in here right now. We have mostly 6x6 rednecks. We rarely hunt in a redneck with a bow, but when I do, it's because we expect success. We're doing that, but this is our smallest one. We have up to a 6x8 redneck. This is a 5x6. I'm not complaining, but for 2 people, it's a little bit tighter than normal. We're going to enjoy the sit. We have Logan, our hunt winner. He's out hunting with Dante about a half mile from here on what we call the apple plot. So it's a really big night for us. Jen got some drone footage of us getting out. We had a fun time shooting before we came out. But bottom line is we're going to get settled in here. You know it's something special when we're sitting in a redneck like this, because I love sitting on our ladder stands and our hang-on stands for bow season, and then we're in here for muzzleloader and gun a lot. So we're snuggled down in. We're going to shut up now. We're going to enjoy the sit, and we'll bring it to you.
Well, we had an awesome ninth season opener set for Dylan and I. It was pretty cool. That was, you know, we really felt like we had a purpose. Ocho was in a lot, and tonight he wasn't. But his pal, a nice 3-year-old 8-point, was in, feeding right in front of us. We had a doe and a fawn. We had more deer behind us. We got in and out without spooking deer. And it was one of those where, man, we just felt like he had a 40–50% chance of seeing him. He's on that consistent pattern. We didn't pick him up anywhere on the trail cameras tonight, but it'll be interesting to see deer in the night, and especially in the morning. We might throw a little wrench into it and have Jen go out there and sit in the morning. What do you think, Dylan?
You're going in the morning, huh?
Well, he'd come through in the morning. He comes through when he does.
All right.
Like a half hour, 45 minutes after daybreak.
Okay.
And but we got to get the winds for it.
Yeah.
But bottom line is, on that consistent pattern, with Logan and Dante, they saw an 8-point this afternoon. Logan would have shot, and it just didn't go by them. They had a doe go by. They actually had grunting in the woods. And so, all in all, we had a lot of fun. And it was a good set to start the 2024 season for you and I. And still tons of hunting. It's not even October yet. And I hope you like this version of a nice strategy hunt for you, and actually bringing some hunt footage and some real hunt to the screen. Thank you, and have a great hunt. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. You're our best followers. You followed all the way to the end of the video. Really invite you to check out our website. We have our Earthway spreaders for sale. Great Christmas presents. We're booking clients right now, all 5 of us. So by the end of December, it seems early, but by the end of December, our schedule will be booked for 2025. It's hard to believe. I'm already booked for December and most of January, February. We have our web classes, the Rut web class, how to design your whitetail property, and really important, hunting hills and thermals, understanding the wind. Those are great products on our site, all the books. Thank you so much for watching all the videos, buying the seed that you did this year. Really appreciate you.